This is the EIR Podcast, where we interview entrepreneurs in residence with your host, Henrik de Geer.
Today I'm speaking with Harry Geller. Harry, who are you and what do you do?
I'm an entrepreneur in residence at the University of Maryland, and the job has evolved not only to mentor students in their entrepreneurial ventures, but also I've transformed over to the other side and now am an entrepreneur in residence for professors, helping them look at their technologies and see if there's ways to commercialize them. So I've been doing this since 2009. And before that, I have been an entrepreneur most of my life. I had a fairly large logistics company I started in the late 1980s and sold in 2000 to the Deutsche Post, which is the German post office, and worked for them for 4 years, acquiring other companies, and left in 2004. Then I got involved in the restaurant business and in the southern Delaware seashore areas. And we had 5 fine dining seafood restaurants there. And we're in 2010, the Inc. 500 fastest growing restaurant group in the country. And I exited that business in 2015. And, also am involved in many other entrepreneurial ventures, small ventures, real estate type things, consumer products, sporting goods. So I like to keep my hands in a lot of little pies.
Harry, how are you involved as an entrepreneur in residence?
So my initial involvement at the University of Maryland Dingman Center for Entrepreneurship started mentoring students and doing what we call pitch sessions. So literally students would just show up, sign in and wait. And, depending on the student load, they would get 15 to 30 minutes with an entrepreneur, myself, or, someone similarly qualified, such as yourself. The students would pitch ideas, and normally we would have a graduate assistant there taking notes, and then they would send students the follow-ups and say, here are some of the things came out of the meeting. If you get these things done, then come back and we'll walk through the next steps. So that became a pretty successful program at University of Maryland. We had thousands of students, over the years involved in those. And, a lot of times the students would figure out how to start a business and could actually launch one. So it was very rewarding from that end.
Harry, what are the biggest challenges and successes you've seen as an entrepreneur in residence?
So the challenges always are you're dealing, particularly if you're an EIR that deals with students, they're very engaged and bright and have good ideas, but they're also there to have a full class load. And so they don't always have the time, to work the business like you or I would do, as entrepreneurs. So just sort of the big challenge is respecting the students' time and understanding that, they are there to be students as well. From a student side, the biggest challenge is always, really, does the idea work? Is there product market fit? And, how is it going to be funded?
What advice would you like to share with other EIRs?
Well, I would say, particularly from my perspective, you're there to help the students, and you're not there to be mean, but you're also not there to be a cheerleader. So what's worked well for me was to, be respectful and direct to students. But if the idea isn't good, you need to tell them that and say, here's, from my experience, why I don't believe this will work. And here's some ideas you might want to consider.
And where can we learn more about entrepreneurs in residence and your work as an EIR?
Well, there's certainly plenty of different websites to look at that. And, the University of Maryland has a whole entrepreneurship website that explains a lot about what we do, the various entrepreneurs in residence, the programs that are offered. And so, it's pretty easy to find.
For more about this, visit EIRpodcast.com. Don't forget to please subscribe, rate, and review. Tune in next week for the next episode. Thanks for listening.